Hi, my name is Sarah Tobin and I'm creator of Tapping for Mums. Tapping, or otherwise known as EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, is one of the most amazing tools that you can use at home right now on your own to release and let go of any negative emotions that are building up for you. I'll let you into a bit of a secret. Yesterday I had a meltdown, a big, ugly cry. Right here in this room, I escaped the chaos and just blew the top. I just let it all out. I cried and I tapped. And today I feel like a different person. I think I'd let the last few weeks get to me and build up, and this week had been particularly hard. I think my kids are feeling it massively, the lack of routine, then potentially uncertainty, potentially stress. And I hadn't realised it, I hadn't picked up on it, and it was just all too much. So I let it out, and today I feel better. And that's what EFT does for me, and certainly for some of the people who have been working with me or doing tapping by themselves through other means. It's okay and very valid to have a huge array of negative emotions, especially at the moment. We are going through the most unprecedented time in history. You know, this kind of thing hasn't happened in a long, long time. So we are currently going through this mix and roller coaster. My friend has coined it the Coronacoaster, and I couldn't think of any better phrase for it. We are going up and down all the time, and we are doing the best that we can to manage with this stress and this new forced way of life. All of this has been forced on us. And a lot of us like control, me included. So not having control and feeling this lack of certainty, and also the physical lack of safety in terms of our bodies and the physical threat of this virus, we are in heightened flight, fight, freeze mode. Our bodies have kicked in that strategy, and it's pumping cortisol and adrenaline. And for me in the UK, I've been feeling like this, we've been feeling like this 4 or 5 weeks now. We've been in lockdown. It's our fifth week, end of the fifth week. And this is almost a month and a day after I recorded my first video on the coronavirus tapping. So, you know, we've been living with this for 5 or 6 weeks, and I know my Irish friends and family have been living with that, I think 2 weeks ahead of us. And then obviously there's our friends and colleagues over in China and other parts of the world who've been dealing with this a lot longer. And that means our bodies are pumped full of cortisol and adrenaline. Who else is struggling to sleep? Who else is running to the fridge anytime your kids aren't behaving like they should be? I'm certainly scoffing biscuits and chocolate like I've never done in the previous months. And I'm also drinking more, more than I had done. I had done 6 weeks of alcohol free at the start of the year, and now I don't know what's happened. It's something that I want to address, but I'm just giving myself a break. Okay, right now I don't necessarily want to give up my gin on a Friday or my bottle of wine on a Saturday. I don't want to do that yet. I'm not ready to let that go. And when I am ready, I'll be using tapping to help me do that. So that's a whole other can of worms. But my point is, we are going through the 5 stages of grief. There is denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And you know, when I looked at the graph, it's like this linear journey that you go through each of these things and you come out the other side with acceptance. But in this situation and in this time, we are literally going through all of these emotions weekly, maybe daily, maybe hourly. And it's a lot to take. And I don't want you to feel like you're alone. There are so many people feeling it right now and this week, and maybe it's the energy of the astrology and what's happening kind of with the stars. And I really feel that this energy is coming up to be released. Maybe that's why I had that big breakdown yesterday. It was like just this big purge of all these emotions that I've been struggling to name. And also I haven't been giving myself time to even think about what I was feeling. We've been going on this treadmill. And often it's not like we're just ignoring and suppressing our feelings. We haven't even sat and identified them. We haven't felt them. We haven't acknowledged their presence. So I'm hoping now with this tapping that I'm going to take you through, you will have some time to acknowledge what you're feeling. And please use your own words. If I'm using a phrase or a sentence that doesn't resonate with you, please swap it for something that does. The more you relate tapping to your own current situation, your own emotional state, the more effective tapping is going to be, which is wonderful. I know that a lot of you will not have tried tapping before, and maybe this is the perfect time to try it, because once you learn this tool, you can use it anytime, anywhere to manage your own negative emotions as they appear, and even go back and look at some trauma work too. Okay, so I've pulled together a variety of things that have come up for me, but also that I have seen come up with friends and family, and also some people on Instagram. I've just noticed this week in particular a lot of posts where people were sharing that they had been feeling these feelings, and I've kind of collated it all because I feel there's going to be something here that you will resonate with. And I haven't written a script, I've just word dumped everything on the page here in front of me, and I'm just going to kind of use that as we go to get a sense and release some of this emotion that we're carrying. Also, I have to say too that we're also holding a lot of positive emotions and gratitude for key workers, gratitude for our homes, our partners, our children, our families, our jobs that may or might be supporting to us at this point. So we have, there's a conflict of emotions. On one hand, we're extremely grateful and loving towards certain things in our lives at the moment. And then on the other hand, there's great sadness about this whole situation, this loss, sadness about the impact it might be having on our kids, the time that they're not having with their friends, sadness then about our own emotions and frustrations about how this has affected us personally. And I think that's where we've got into with this kind of 5-6 week period. We've gone through the kind of emotions about other people, and I feel that it's really coming home now. It's an opportunity for us now to look in and to see what we can release personally about what we're feeling about this, without judgment and without guilt. Okay, it is extremely normal to have conflicting emotions, and it's natural, and every emotion is valid. So all your emotions are signals to you that something should change or that something's not right. So all negative emotions. Positive emotions are obviously signals to you that you're on the right track and things are great and you're happy. So equally, when you're in the kind of a state of anxiety, frustration, anger, they're all telling you that the environment should change around you, which is extremely difficult right now because we can't change that environment. We are stuck where we are. We're in Groundhog Day, and we have to adapt. And that can be really difficult because our bodies are trying to tell us one thing, but we actively can't change it. So that's what we're going to do with the tapping. We're going to reprogram the mind to change the mind into thinking that that we're safe and that we're okay, and we can let go of the negative traumas, and the emotions that are coming up can be released. I hope that all makes sense, and I hope that you'll be able to follow me now as we do some tapping. So first off, I'm just going to have a drink of water. Water is very important to drink when you are doing tapping because it helps flush out the toxins that you've been holding after you release. So once you release, your body goes from flight, fight, freeze into rest, regeneration, and recovery. And in that state, then your cells can go back to their normal function. They can't do two things at once, unfortunately. They're in one state or the other. So then the sympathetic nervous system can come back in, and then everything starts work optimally. But you need water to really flush out the toxins that have been held in the cells for the period of your flight, fight, freeze, which could have been a few weeks. So here's to some water. Okay, so we're just going to start by assessing how we feel on a scale of 0 to 10. How frustrated, angry, anxious, overwhelmed are we feeling right now? Just take a minute to give yourself a rating. 10 being the worst. And then I want you to feel where you're holding that in the body. Feel where you are storing all that tension. Some people it's their head, their backs, their lower backs, so upper backs, lower backs, chest, stomach, and even some random body parts. It doesn't matter. Just find out, tune in and see where that is in your body. And give it a colour and a texture if you can. So I'm going to use black, frustration in my chest. And I'd like a heavy black frustration in my chest. That's where my frustration is, or my emotion is. When I say those words, I want you to replace it with what you are feeling, the overriding emotion that you've got, and the overriding location of the body. If you cannot find a location, just say my whole body or every cell in my body, because most likely we are holding this in every single cell of our body. So I will say the words black, anger, or frustration in my chest, and you say the words that relate to you on your side. I just want you to copy me. I'll just quickly show you the points. So we do a setup statement, which is only at the very beginning. This is the karate chop point, side of the hand. Then we have the crown, so the top of the head, anywhere around here. We tap 5 to 7 times per point. This is the start of the eyebrow, the side of the eyebrow, under the eye. Just tap along with me now and get comfortable with the points. Under the nose, under the chin, under the collarbone. So this is the collarbone itself, and it's actually the fleshy part underneath. This is an amazing point for anxiety because it links directly to the kidneys, which manage anxiety in your body. So if you just did one thing, or if you needed to feel less anxious, just start tapping on this point. Under the arm, this is where your bra strap is for the ladies. And then the hand point, so there's the wrist. And then either side of the fingernail bed for every finger. So they're the points, and then you go back to the top again. It is a very forgiving tool. If you miss a point, or you don't tap, if you don't feel you're tapping long enough, or you tap, you're worried about tapping either side, or 2 hands, 1 hand, forget it. You will tap all these points multiple times and your body's going to get the message. There is no right or wrong, really, as long as you're following the kind of general sequence of things. The sequence is just thought like that, so you remember it. It's top down. There is no rhyme or reason to the order of the points. Okay, so you can't really get this wrong. It's a really easy tool. Okay, are we ready? I'm going to start tapping and we'll just see where we go. See what we channel in now. If you just put your hand on your heart for 3 deep heart breaths. Imagine the air coming into your heart space and then out for 4, in for 4, out for 4. Inhaling peace and exhaling tension, and even sigh if you want to, just let it all out. Okay, we're going to start with the karate chop point. Even though I have all this black frustration in my chest, because of this unprecedented situation that we find ourselves in, and I've lost all control. I can't do anything about it. And I like control. It makes me feel safe. I hate not feeling safe. All my buttons are pressed right now. And so many negative emotions are coming up to be released. But I acknowledge that this is normal. I acknowledge that I'm doing the best that I can. And I choose to love and accept myself anyway. Even though I've got all this black frustration in my chest. Because I feel so overwhelmed and stressed with having to balance motherhood, partnerhood, work for some. I'm trying to manage everybody's emotions, and I feel like I've been left at the bottom of the pile. But I choose to look at this now, and I choose to love and accept myself anyway. Even though I've got this black pressure in my chest. Sometimes I feel so angry that we're going through this, that the world is going through this tragedy, trauma, and heartbreak. And I'm also so grateful to so many people that are doing amazing jobs in looking after us. Such conflict of emotion. But I acknowledge that that is normal. And I'm doing the best that I can every day, even when it doesn't feel that good. And I choose to love and accept myself anyway. Okay, all this black frustration in my chest. This heavy black frustration. So much black frustration. Just so frustrated that we are in this situation. Frustrated that I might not be coping as well as I want to. Frustrated with my children shouting at me and demanding things all day. Frustrated I can't do the things that I would like to do. Frustrated that so many things are on hold. Frustrated and angry that this has had to happen for us to wake up and change. Oh, this frustration in my chest. I'm exhausted from all of this. The sheer exhaustion of parenting, working, balancing everything with no break. It's relentless and like Groundhog Day. And it's sometimes overwhelming. Sometimes I don't know what to do. Sometimes I don't know how to make it better. Sometimes I feel worthless and useless. Shouldn't I be coping better? Shouldn't I be a better mum? Shouldn't I be homeschooling properly instead of not at all? Shouldn't I be doing something more? I'm feeling guilt in so many different ways. Guilt for even having those thoughts. Guilt for feeling selfish by having those thoughts. Guilt for having to work and not be with the kids all the time. Guilty for not trying to get my kids to do things that probably would help them when they start school. Guilt for not being able to do all my work hours because there's not enough hours in the day and I'm exhausted. Guilt for shouting when I lose my cool. Guilt for too much screen time. So many demands. And it feels relentless, like there's no end in sight. I really miss alone time. I miss my personal space. I miss the things I used to do to manage my anxiety. having to support a whole household of emotions without having time to look at and release my own emotions. Not even having time to exercise properly. And I see and compare myself with so many other people. And I look at pictures of serene children and wish I could have the same. Everyone's in a different boat. I'm lucky that I have the support that I have. But sometimes it doesn't feel enough. And then I feel greedy and guilty again. All these negative emotions. I'm holding them in my whole body. I'm worried about life after this lockdown. Can we stay safe if we go back to normal? How do we keep everyone safe? How will it impact our children? And what's the long-term impact of this? So much apprehension and anxiety about what's going to happen in the future. And I'm missing life before this in some ways. Missing having physical contact with friends and family. Missing family so much right now. Missing things I took for granted, like having a cup of coffee in a cafe. Or that car ride chat with a friend on the way to yoga. The things that I used to do for me, that worked for me. I'm struggling without them. So much loss of control. So much lack of certainty. Sometimes I wonder, am I coping okay? Am I able to cope? Am I failing? Is there something else I could be doing? I've put a lot of pressure on myself. And maybe I can release all of this now. Maybe I need to absorb the big lesson in all of this. Maybe that's why we've got all these emotions coming up to be released, so we can focus on the present, so I can be more present, so I could see the kids and what they really need when they can't tell me. But I have been doing the best that I can with the knowledge and understanding that I have at every moment. I have been doing the best that I can. But it's been hard. This is a true test of my skills as a parent and as a human. This is what it really means to be human. This conflict of emotion. This darker side of ourselves that we hold. But that's what makes us human. We are yin and yang. We are light and dark. All of this is completely natural. So I release myself of all that pressure now. I release and let go of all this frustration in my chest. I let go of all this frustration. I let go of all the anger. I let go of all the overwhelm. I let go of the exhaustion. I let go of the exhaustion and the stress. I just let go of the guilt. I release myself of all this guilt. I know that all of my feelings are normal. And I know that I'm a good person. And I know that I'm doing the best that I can. And I know so many people are feeling the same. And I know that we're all in this together. And together we can support each other. So I choose to be happy in the present tense now. I choose to find fulfillment in every moment I can. I choose to stop pushing myself to the future. I choose to stop all these daily expectations. I choose to relieve myself of this constant pressure I put myself under. I choose to stop comparing myself to others. I'm learning more about myself every day. And I know that I'm doing the best that I can. We all are doing the best that we can in this situation. I choose to be peaceful, joyful, and loving whenever I can. I am so worthy of love and joy. And I don't have to earn worthiness. It is open and available to every human, always. I am worthy exactly as I am. I'm worth time for myself. I choose to put my self-care first. I choose to be more compassionate to myself. I choose to ground myself to Mother Earth. I choose to connect within more. I connect to the pure love within me. I surrender and let go of all remaining stress from my body. I trust that all will be well. I trust in the bigger plan. I am emotionally resilient. I am strong. I am gentle. And I am love. Take a deep breath in. You can even have a stretch. See how that feels in your body, that release. Take a minute now just to have a few more deep breaths. Feel if that energy has shifted for you. If you've come down that scale, however high you were at the start, assess how you are now on that scale of 1 to 10. If you're still high, I would just replay this video. Keep tapping. Keep going. You can tap yourself down the scale. The idea and the goal is to get as close to 0 as possible. For some people, moving from a 10 to a 7 could be a massive shift. And that's all they might have time for, or the energy for at that time. And that's perfectly brilliant, normal, and perfect. If you decide that you're a 7, but you want to keep tapping to get to a 2 or 0, then just keep doing it. This is extremely personal, and it's all about how you feel. If you feel better, stop. If you don't, keep going. That's a little rule. And just remember, the more that you heal, the happier that you will feel. The more we release, the lighter we will feel. And then there's more room for happiness, joy, and being present. There's more room in our body for the attention to be present and our awareness to be present within and within our family unit and wherever we are right now. I really hope that has helped. Please let me know how you get on, or if you have any questions, please get in touch. You can email me at sarah@tappingformums.com. You can follow more videos on YouTube/tappingformums, and follow me on Instagram, Sarah_Tobin. And yes, I hope to see you here again soon. And if you did want to start practicing tapping yourself, sign up for my newsletter. Go online to www.tappingformums.com, and you will get a pop-up. Sign up for my newsletter, because you will get a PDF, which is a how to tap guide, and you'll also get a Word document, which is a tapping script template, which you can use to start to write your own tapping scripts. So some people like to do that because they feel not very confident just saying what I've just said there, making something up. So if you want to think about it first, you can write down your script and then tap it out. That can be a really nice tool to use when you're starting to tap. Sending you so much love at this time, and I hope you found this helpful today. Take care and lots of love.